Welcome to Neural Nexus Podcast, where we explore the hottest topics shaping the world. Let's dive in.
All right, so you know how everyone's always talking about that magic number, like $1 million for retirement?
Yeah.
It can feel like a seriously huge, overwhelming goal, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But what if I told you that it might be more within reach than you think?
More than you think, yeah.
So today we're going to deep dive into some really interesting research that shows how to build that $1 million nest egg for retirement.
Awesome.
And it's not about hitting the lottery or anything like that. It's really about being smart with your choices and your efforts over time.
Right. Consistency and smart decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're after.
So our mission here is to pull out those actionable steps and key insights for our listeners so they can start working towards that $1 million goal without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Love it.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about starting early.
Yes.
Because time really is your biggest ally when it comes to saving and investing.
It really is. The sooner the better, right?
Oh, yeah. Because of this magical thing called compound
A
interest.
snowball effect, right?
Yeah.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It keeps building on itself.
Yeah.
So one of the sources we looked at had this amazing example
Oh,
where
yeah.
if you invest just $300 every month,
Every month.
yeah, into an S&P 500 index fund. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. That's like the 500 biggest publicly traded U.S. companies.
Right. So it gives you a broad exposure to the market.
Diversify, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
And with a 7% average annual return, if you start at age 25,
Okay, 25, got it.
you could hit over $1 million by the time you're 65.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know, right? And $300 a month, that's like, what, $10 a day?
Basically, yeah. Less than a fancy coffee habit for a lot of people.
Totally makes you rethink those daily expenses, right?
Save time, yeah. Puts it into perspective.
The really interesting part is what happens if you wait.
Yeah, like what if you don't start at 25?
Right. So if you wait till you're 40
Okay.
to hit that same $1 million goal by 65,
Uh-huh.
you'd need to invest $600 a month.
Double.
It doubles.
So basically, starting early cuts your monthly investment in half.
That's the power of time right there.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's like having time work for you instead of against you.
Yeah, your money's not just sitting there, it's growing, and then those earnings are generating more earnings.
Exactly. The magic of compounding.
Now let's talk about some tools that can really supercharge your retirement savings.
I like the sound of that.
These are like the golden tickets, things like 401ks and IRAs.
Oh, yeah, those tax-advantaged accounts.
Exactly. They come with some pretty sweet tax benefits.
Sweet indeed.
So in 2025, do you know what the contribution limits are for those?
Let's see. If you're under 50, you can put in up to $23,500 in your 401k.
Okay.
And for an IRA, it's $7,000.
Got it.
And there are actually even higher catch-up contribution limits for those 50 and older.
Right. So you can put even more away as you get closer to retirement.
Exactly.
And then there's the 401k employer match.
Oh, yes. That's the best thing.
Like free money.
It really is. Like they're just giving you extra money to invest.
Right. And one of the sources we looked at had a really compelling example.
Yeah.
Someone who starts maxing out their 401k at age 30 with a 4% employer match.
All right.
They could end up with over $1.5 million by 65.
Wow. That match really makes a difference.
It's a game changer.
Seriously.
And then we've got Roth IRAs,
Yeah.
which handle taxes a bit differently.
Yeah, with a Roth IRA, you put in money that you've already paid taxes on,
Okay.
but then all the growth and all the withdrawals you make in retirement are tax-free.
So you don't have to worry about taxes when you're actually using the money.
No taxes in retirement. It's a great deal.
And you know what's really interesting? The IRS data shows that something like 80% of millionaires max out these types of contributions every year.
Wow, 80%. That says a lot.
Right. It really highlights how important these accounts are for building wealth.
No doubt about it.
So the key takeaway here is to prioritize contributing as much as you can to these tax-advantaged accounts.
Absolutely, especially if you're getting that employer match. I mean, why would you leave free money on the table?
Exactly. Take advantage of those benefits.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that might not be enough for everyone to reach that $1 million goal.
Okay, what's that?
Just relying on your 9-to-5 job.
Right.
So the idea of a side hustle comes into play.
That's where things get a little more entrepreneurial.
A little side hustle action.
Exactly. So we're talking about creating additional sources of income.
Multiple streams of income. Love it.
Yeah. And the sources we looked at had some great ideas like freelancing,
Freelancing. Oh,
e-commerce,
e-commerce. All right.
even creating content online, like starting a YouTube channel.
YouTube. That's a popular one these days.
But the real power of a side hustle is that it can grow and scale.
Right. You start small and then build it up.
And there are some really practical ways to get started.
Like what?
Well, you could offer your skills as a freelancer, like writing or graphic design,
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people who do that.
or you could sell handmade crafts on Etsy,
Etsy, that's a good one.
or even provide online tutoring.
Tutoring, that's a great way to leverage your knowledge.
Exactly. And the goal isn't just to have some extra spending money.
No, it's about investing that extra income to grow your wealth.
Right. So you take those profits and reinvest them back into your side hustle to help it expand.
Exactly like creating online courses, investing in marketing, or even setting up a dropshipping store.
Oh, yeah. Those are all great ways to scale up.
And you know, it's interesting. Upwork did a study that found that 36% of Americans were freelancing in 2024.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
It is. And it shows you the potential of the gig economy.
Totally. And to give you an idea of the impact,
Okay.
a side hustle that brings in an extra $50,000 per year,
All right.
if you invest that consistently at 7% over 30 years,
Uh-huh.
you could add an extra $500,000 to your retirement savings.
That's huge.
$500,000 just from a side hustle.
That's incredible motivation to get started.
Right. So think about your passions, your skills, and explore if you can turn them into a side hustle.
I love that idea, turning your passion into profit.
Okay, so now let's talk about a strategy that might not be as glamorous as building a business,
Okay, I'm intrigued.
but it's incredibly important, living frugally.
Wow, the millionaire next door mindset.
You know about that.
Oh yeah, that's classic research showing that a lot of millionaires are actually really frugal.
Exactly. They don't spend extravagantly. They're very intentional with their money.
Smart money management, right.
So the core principle here is to spend less than you earn.
And invest the difference. That's key.
Right. And the sources we looked at had some great examples of frugal habits.
Like what?
Well, for one, driving a reliable used car instead of always buying new.
Makes sense. Cars depreciate so quickly anyway.
Another one is keeping your housing costs around or below 25% of your income.
Yeah, housing can be a huge expense.
Also, cooking more meals at home instead of eating out all the time.
Saves a ton of money.
And regularly reviewing your subscriptions and canceling any you don't really use.
Those subscriptions can really add up without you even noticing.
It's all about being conscious of where your money's going.
Being mindful and intentional. Yeah.
And then making choices that support your long-term financial goals.
Oh, prioritizing the future over instant gratification.
And to show you the power of this approach,
Okay.
if you save and invest $500 every month for 40 years at that 7% return,
Right.
you could end up with $1.2 million.
Wow, that's serious money.
It really shows how those small everyday savings can add up to something huge over time.
The power of consistency. Right?
Exactly. And remember, it's not about depriving yourself.
No, it's about choosing long-term happiness and security over unnecessary spending.
It's about being smart and making your money work for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about diversification.
Oh yeah, spreading your investments around.
Because $1 million portfolio needs to be more than just cash in a savings account.
Right. Different asset classes for different levels of risk and return.
So what are some of the key asset classes we should consider?
Well, real estate is a popular one,
Real estate. Okay.
with potential returns of 5% to 8%, plus the possibility of appreciation.
Right. Your property could increase in value over time.
Exactly. Then there are REITs,
With REITs, what are those?
real estate investment trusts. They're a way to invest in real estate without actually owning property.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they typically have average annual returns around 6%.
Okay. And what else?
Bonds are good for portfolio balance and stability.
So they're generally considered lower risk than stocks.
Yeah, and then of course there's the hot topic of cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, that's been a wild ride.
It has. It's high risk, but also potentially high reward.
Right, like Bitcoin's growth since 2015 has been insane.
Insane is a good word for it, but remember, it's volatile.
So what kind of allocation do the sources suggest for something like cryptocurrency?
They recommend keeping it to a small percentage, maybe around 5% of your portfolio.
Okay, so not going all in on crypto.
No, diversification is key.
So what about an overall diversification strategy? Do they have any general guidelines?
Yeah, they suggest roughly 60% in stocks, 20% in real estate, including REITs, 10% in bonds, and 10% in what they call wild cards.
Wild cards.
Yeah, things like cryptocurrency or other alternative investments.
Got it. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, you should adjust your allocation over time based on your risk tolerance, your goals, and how close you are to retirement.
That makes sense.
And you know what's really interesting? The IRS data shows that the average millionaire has 7 to 10 different sources of income.
Wow, that's a lot of income streams.
It is, and it really highlights the importance of diversifying your income as well as your investments.
Right, don't just rely on one paycheck.
Exactly. Have your money working for you in multiple ways.
And ultimately, diversification is all about managing risk.
By spreading your investments across different asset classes, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right, so you can ride out those market fluctuations more effectively. Okay, so to recap, we've covered 5 key strategies for building that $1 million retirement fund.
Awesome.
Start early to take advantage of compound interest.
The earlier the better.
Maximize your contributions to those tax-advantaged accounts.
401ks, IRAs, take advantage of those tax benefits.
Build a scalable side hustle to boost your income.
Turn your passion into profit.
Embrace a frugal lifestyle.
The millionaire next door mindset.
And diversify your investments across different asset classes.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And the main message here is that $1 million retirement is achievable.
Absolutely.
It's not a pipe dream.
No, it's about consistent effort, smart choices, and the right mindset.
And it's a long-term journey.
Not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right. And Ramsey Solutions found that the average millionaire took 32 years to reach their goal.
32 years, that's a realistic time frame.
So it's about staying committed and playing the long game.
Exactly.
So as you think about all this information,
Yeah.
here's a question for you.
Okay.
What's one concrete step you can take today
Today. All right.
to start building your own $1 million plan for a happy and secure retirement?
Take action, get started. That's the key.
It all starts with that first step.
And keep going, one step at a time.
Absolutely. Consistency is everything.
You got this.
All right, that's it for our deep dive today.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.